the first matchup of the rest of the season, right? You have you have the home away, and then you have the coin flip. So this is the home for Gen.G. Next time they face off against each other, HANWHA Life Esports will have the side selection. I think we're going to see continued bans on the Pantheon.
PvV, baby.
Yep, and you can look at the Azir or the Varus, depending on whether blue side randomly bans the Varus, which we did see from D+.
Yeah, we'll see what the first pick priority is going to be. I imagine Azir, if it's left up, will definitely be snapped up, but the Taliyah is also another one of these question marks that we are going to have. The Jace going to be taken away from Zeus, and theoretically the Yone ban is against Zeus as well, but of course, banning Yone against HANWHA is a pretty safe one. As, yep, there's PV, and we just need an extra V to come through there as Taliyah setting themselves up for that Azir first pick.
Yeah, trying to get the Azir ban so that Canyon can play Vi potentially. The Jace ban made me feel like they were maybe going to look for a first pick Gwen, but the Rumble's still up, so still a risky pick into a player like Zeus. They will pull the Vi out, take the Azir, and put that in that final spot, so I think we're likely going to see Canyon's Vi here in this first game, but you could go a different direction.
Yeah, I actually think blind pick Vi is kind of a trap. Gen.G going to lock in the Annie instead, though, leaving things up in the air, and of course Vi Annie would be a lot of power if they do get their hands on it.
I think Vi Ahri is still really good here, but the Gwen is going to get taken by Zeus. That Jace ban really makes it a little bit easier, but you still have to potentially deal with that Rumble.
Lucian, an interesting consideration here for Viper.
Especially this early in the draft.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Trundle, but that might just be recency bias because Croco made the champion look completely broken in the last game, and we saw even in EWC, MSI, the Trundle getting banned multiple times and finding a lot of success.
If you do lock this here, I still think the Vi is quite strong. A little bit trickier with this one, though, as keeping things very up in the air. I love the Nico rather than the Lucian because it pairs with so many different AD carries in that bottom lane. Yep. It keeps Gen.G guessing, and it's an S-tier support pick. You know, the higher you go up the standings, the higher the Nico priority I think is going to go for our LCK teams.
I would agree. I actually think that we have some pretty amazing Nico players as well. I don't know whether Delight necessarily is synonymous with Nico in my mind, but Delight pretty good on champions that you can make big plays on and find all the CC. Is the Wukong going to be the answer here for Canyon, or not necessarily answer because we don't see a jungle through just yet?
That's the answering pick, though, to the Nico that is shown.
Yep.
And you know, Rumble works well with this. You don't necessarily have to get it, but Aurora is going to be the new counter pick here that we're seeing rise up so much. And Keen was the OG top Aurora player. I feel like, run this narrative into the ground, but just keeps being relevant. Yep. In this meta, Aurora is making a big comeback right now. Let's see what's going to be paired with this Nico. They don't necessarily have to choose now because there's, like I said, so many different pairings they want, or that they could go with. And I like picking the Xin Zhao instead, actually. It's really smart here.
Yep, Xin Zhao going to come in there, the double circle composition to allow you to play pretty up close and personal, but remain safe. If anything is too outrangey, Aurora can sometimes do that.
Let's see what the approach is going to be in terms of what the bottom lane bans can be here for the side of HANWHA Life Esports. Maybe banning some range champions to guarantee this Nico is going to have a lot of prio. Could be the name of the game. The Alistar is still obviously quite a prized pick right now, but I don't think you want to play Alistar into Nico, so maybe this time it just goes by the wayside. Braum, Lucian, it's not going to be the option they are looking for.
Yeah, it's an Ezreal, or if it's banned, it's something else. I think Viper certainly wanted to play that if he can get his hands on it. The Galio going to be taken away here as well. Would have fit the comp beautifully, I have to admit, as of course Pop Blossom Heroic Entrance is just so much knocking up. It's kind of crazy.
Both of these mid laners are insanely good at Galio.
That is a good point.
Rakan will be taken away from Duro here, so still a lot open in that bottom lane since they went for one support, one Lucian ban there on the AD carry. See what this final ban ends up being into this Annie pick. Might just be a Ryze ban because it works well with the Gwen and sides. Feels like the best option because, like you said, the Galio already insane with this comp because it does follow side lanes really well too. Banning the Kai'Sa, it's a bit of a surprise to me. I did not expect the Kai'Sa Nico lane, especially because this comp isn't really a dive comp necessarily.
Yeah, and you also, like, Kai'Sa feels a little bit low range to be fighting into what we're seeing right now. But Viper has been good at it in the past, and it does theoretically fit the archetype of the comp that they're putting together for the moment.
I think the Ryze ban would have been what I'd prefer, but it is going to go over, which is, I think, no shock to anyone. Great wave clear. You have insane 1-3-1 with this draft. We don't even know what the AD carry is, but you know it's insane 1-3-1 with this draft here for HANWHA Life Esports. As the Senna is going to be blind here into the 8 carry, and they're going to play Senna Alistair into a Nico draft. Almost feels like they're baiting the Kalista, but Viper won't fall for it.
No, not
He's
this
going to
time.
play the Jhin, which is also very strong in the early 2v2.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Kalista is still as low priority here in the LCK, because I know over at MSI it became a meme, you know, just kept losing and losing and losing, but we've always loved Kalista here in the LCK, and so I think it's going to be a tough one.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, big cheers from the crowd here at Lol Park. Pretty full house here today as well. In our first day back here, round 3, unprecedented. Here with our new format, and of course, everything in the first 2 rounds matters. That's the difference here between this year. We've seen a few opinions of both sides of the fence as to whether or not it's a great thing, but I kind of like the change. You know, we've just got something different to have fun with here. As already Peanut taking a little bit of damage as Keen does find him in the jungle, but not too much else is going to happen here.
Gen.G securing their spot after just 1 win is pretty crazy because they are 18-0.
Yeah, and you have to remember the reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that if Gen.G makes playoffs, they're automatically in because they're MSI champion.
And we're talking about Worlds, of course.
Yes.
Just to be clear, because I didn't say that word, but I think everyone knew what I meant. The other thing about this is, like, when you look at some of the other standings, how far ahead D+ is from the rest of the Rise group gives them an insane advantage. I do see some of the arguments for, like, should it be reset, but I personally like carrying it over because it's a long, year-long season, and so I think what you accomplish in the early part of the year should matter as much. That's the reason why we have a whole season, because otherwise you just split it in 2. I'm like, oh yeah, then like we could have spring and summer season. I feel like I kind of have heard this one before.
Yeah, and I also just think that change is good, right? Yeah. Like making something different. As Duro taking a little bit of damage here. There are 2 Jins. That's too few Jins, or 1 too many in my opinion. Because, you know, it's the whole thing. As Viper and Delight doing a pretty good job keeping this wave shoved. That is what we expect from this. As Shape Splitter there from Delight is, that's not the real one.
Not quite.
Yeah, definitely not falling for that.
So they did opt into this matchup. You know, this one is a little bit rough. But on the top side, it's the matchup they opted into that's going to give them a pretty big lead. I love how, you know, in the past we had a few of these matchups for Gwen, like the Rumble, the Ambessa, where it's like you can win, it's really hard. And then with the Aurora, it's like, well, how hard do you win? And Keen's like, oh, I win the hardest, by the way. Look at Zeus' health, look at the lead he has in farm. Like, you win this one kind of automatically, but if you're Keen, you might get a solo kill. You know, it's the level of advantages you can build up here. So yes, winning bottom 2v2 for HANWHA Life, but it means way less than this huge lead that Keen has in the top lane.
Yeah.
They're going to lane swap away from the Aurora.
Yeah, you're going to need to. This is one of the earlier swaps that we've seen often. It's 3:30 for the earliest, and we saw none of them in game number 1, in the first series, sorry. Of course, with no real changes as far as that is concerned in the patch notes or anything like that. It was just Bro and DK didn't really feel like it. You can see Gen.G and HANWHA going to be opting in as Keen here with this wave pushing forward, and Viper actually able to grab a fair bit of extra money here, as that cannon is going to be his. And it is just going to be Viper by himself for the moment, as Delight is finally rotating his way up. Spent a little bit of time towards the bottom side, as Canyon is going to find him in the jungle. And the Tangle Barbs does come on down, but you can see Delight in a little bit of trouble, has to flash out of the way as the Warrior Trickster came on through, and so now this Jhin is a little bit less safe up against Keen.
Yeah, it's going to be okay, but still frustrating because this now feels like a pretty free lane for Keen. In fact, he even has pressure here. He's just going to proc another Electrocute. And on the bottom side, it's really free for the Senna. So Ruler is like, okay, well, you guys swapped to save your Gwen, but he's now going to be up against me. By the way, look at the farm. Zeus has 9 CS. He will finally catch this giant wave, but it's just whatever Ruler wants to do, he can do in this lane. He can stack for free, and then the top side, because of that catch onto Delight, who's now flashless, Keen's just chilling as well.
Yep, I do still think that it was a good idea to swap. That's just how horrible the matchup between the Gwen and the Aurora is. But I 100% agree with you, Wolf. It is a little bit of a worrying time for HLE, because if you're the one that is sort of forced to swap, it means that you forego any tempo in this early stage of the game. You can see there are some swaps continuing to occur as now Ruler comes up towards his top side and we'll be able to clear out this wave.
And ultimately, though, you know, with the prio they got, with a near kill on to get Delight the catch there, it's going to TP the Aurora back down bottom side anyways, and this continues as Ruler continues to stack. And so, you know, it's the right call, like you said, but the hole is so big you can't quite patch it up with that flex tape this time.
Not quite working, as Viper is going to look for another swap, I believe. Will now be going back to base. And so Ruler, slight CS advantage here for the center, and that should continue, as it's going to take a little while before the Jin walks his way down towards that bottom lane, especially without boots to complete. Zeus at least can now be a little bit immune, but he's just not as immune as he'd really want to be, as you can see there.
You can see with this wave state, he's like, got to use his mist to try to clear half of those minions, and then he's like, all right, well, it's gone, I'm out. I got electrocuted, I have TP. Hopefully I don't get my back stopped. And he won't. Viper is down here now. It looks like he's going to be TPing to the top lane, which again means that Ruler is just chilling. The Senna, who struggles into this 2v2 lane, is like, well, thanks for the freebie, Keen.
Feeling pretty good about it so far. But you can see it's only 200 gold, 300 gold, something like that in it. And I think that HLE just going to be pretty happy if their composition lasts towards a mid-game, because in skirmishes and things like that, then it will work out. It's just right now in the laning phase, it's not necessarily working. Was that a -1 as well?
It's about to be for Keen.
That was not great. Oh my goodness. And even the Pop Blossom is going to miss. Oh, sorry, the Blooming Burst is going to miss. It's a little bit unfortunate. So
It's not the end of the world here. Like, I think you make a really good point, because HANWHA's comp is still going to be really strong in the mid game. They have great rules. There's no ult here for Delight, means Keen's going to eat some damage, but nothing too big. They get the dragon. But you're absolutely right. This is not dooming early lanes. It's not like they end up with a double kill. You know, it's not like the Jin lane got killed by a big mistake or something like that, but it's just exactly where Gen.G want to be. They're in the comfort zone for their comp right now. And Peanut's going to look for a dive here. Let's see if this works better than the EWC ones.
Yeah, you can see Kane does bounce away to the other side, but Delight, not too worried about it. He's a cannon minion, just having a great time here as a Realm Warp from Zeka will be able to deliver him, and I don't think Kane's surviving this one. Down he will go. Is that his first blood? The answering kill is going to happen on the top side of the map here as Duro able to tank off the last hit of the turret. Drink your potions, ladies and gentlemen. That gets him through the fire of these minions. First blood does go over to HLE, but the instant answer means that Gen.G holds onto their lead.
Yeah, Peanut is going to be able to get this red buff away from Canyon, as well as potentially those Krugs if he is able, if he just goes down and checks and sees they are available. This is kind of insane. The amount of time that is bought here for Keen, though, this gives a ton of time for Canyon to rotate topside to look for that pick. Sidesteps the flourish, is able to get into this Realm Warp, finally does die. But it forced a Realm Warp out of the Rise, right? Like, it's so many resources used, and now there's just nothing to bail Zeus out. The kill does go over to the Wukong here. We were not quite able to secure that one. Duro drinks his potion, tanks the aggro really well. Another plate will go over to Ruler, so he picks up a lot of money from this, but at least HANWHA were able to shut that Aurora down, finally.
Yeah, very, very nicely done that they do manage to kill Kane, but the fact that Zeus goes down does mean that things are relatively even. He is now in a pretty weird spot, as now Canyon gets the smite on that last grub, and Duro is just waiting for this Gwen. So it's likely that Zeus is just dead yet again. He does flash, try and get himself out of the way, but the Cyclone should be able to catch up to him. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the game plan was.
Yeah, that was really bizarre, but at least they get the scuttle?
Huh? Yeah, and the last grub.
Oh, they got the last grub as well, okay. Sorry, I thought that was a scuttle for some reason. It was just super far out of the pit.
I can understand why you were a bit frazzled.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a weird situation, and
just wasn't quite aware of where Duro was, and we could see him because we have God vision that it looked odd.
I just don't know what the game plan is, though, for, like, you have a Jin who has ult, so maybe that's the call. Like, if the Pop Blossom engage plus the Jin is there, like, you could win this fight, and the Gwen is just going to be rolling through the fight with her scissors out going, this is awesome, but they just weren't able to rejoin. And so it just looks kind of silly here at the end for HANWHA Esports, because he was just way too far ahead of the tempo of his team to be there, and is punished extremely. So both of the kills here in this game going over to Canyon, and the Wukong is going to use the ult well.
Okay, it's a little bit weird. Pop Blossom is going to come through there as Duro's only level 5. Zekka's going to move over, and maybe he gets another one. He doesn't even get an assist as Viper locks down that kill. Evening things out here on the side of HLE after that Zeus death. He's going to feel pretty good. Okay, that's a Tibbers.
That's a cleanse. And a Jin pushed out of the mid lane. I like where the gold is for HANWHA Life a little bit more than I like where it is here for the side of Gen.G, but we'll see how this is utilized, as both carries for HANWHA Life ended up picking up money, which shores up some of the deficits in those lanes.
Yep, I think one of the good things is that Wukong is a champion that you're pretty happy to have money on.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a Triforce, second completed item in the game, as Viper does pick up, I guess it might be about the same time as Viper picks up this Ghost Blade. They're pretty big, and if he can continue to snowball this game, when they have the comp that's scaling, then yeah, it's 100% worth.
Just paying a visit here as Ruler continues to get this shoved in. Zeus probably going to lose a plate on this particular push, as Canyon's moving over, and maybe he loses his life as well. As you can see, Peanut, he is vacating the area now, has a camp towards his top side of the map, and now Zeus left to the Wolves, or maybe the Cows, as he just gets knocked up to high heaven and can't even get the needlework out. That is going to be Pizza Warfare over to Gen.G. Duro this time, he has the ultimate, so tanking the turret even easier.
They just get the turret too here, I think, and maybe even grab the whole feats of strength. They're going to need another wave, but it's coming through. There needs to be an answer here for HANWHA Life Esports, because on the other side of the map, they're just crashing a wave into top turret. There is no cross map here for HLE. Rotation down from Delight. There's the TP. They've got to do something.
Well, they are going to at least save the turret. Let's see whether they can get anything else as well, as Delight does manage to find the snare. Viper there as well with the deadly flourish. And Canyon, Warrior Trickston, flashes over the wall. He even gets a bit of a heal. The curtains are being called, though, as now Ruler slowed down. Fourth one comes in. He gives him a bit of an emote as he tanks all the damage.
And Keen is just getting some free time alone with his top turret as well. They got the TP out of Zekka. And Gen.G went on both sides of the map here. TP is going to come out from Keen to make sure this turret isn't taken in exchange, but Ruler's got just enough mana to help clear this up. The Dragon will go over to HANWHA Life Esports, so that's a big win. Some of the greed there on that bottom side turret was punished from Gen.G, but they got the summoners. They got a lot of tempo from this. So even though Drake goes over, I feel like Gen.G are happy with the position they're in. Now 2,000 gold ahead.
Well, Zeus is farming out this wave underneath the turret. The Dragon is going to be secured here by HLE, and it's a Cloud Soul. Oh man, I was so worried that it was going to be another Mountain Soul. This time it's a Cloud. You love to see it, as Zeus is going to skirt real far away, as Duro is still here, just protecting in the jungle. Long way around there for Zeus.
It's because it takes them so long to get here, and also the fact that, like, it looks like Viper and Delight were going up there. They're going to be delayed on their farm. And then the Aurora's still pushing bottom side here. Peanut can't get into his jungle, and the top turret is just lost.
Well, Deadly Flourish does go down. Crescent Guard not going to help Peanut, as he does flash away and keeps himself alive. But keeping yourself alive is not what HLE want to do. They want to try and find inroads, find advantages. They cannot really do it so far in this game.
Yeah, it's the early game Senekov. We've said this about Gen.G a lot in the past, haven't we?
Yeah, where's the Essence Reaver though, Wolf?
Yeah, he just went static Shiv. It's weird. It's like he can clear waves and then join team fights.
Yeah, it's so strange. Anyway, Delight looking to see whether he can find Chovy, but they get a flash and then they back away. Could be a big deal.
That is a big win. And they also were able to defend that topside turret. Cleanse does go down here for Ruler. That looked really weird, but just wants to ensure his safety. Delight is nearby, does have ult and flash, and is on this control ward, so Ruler is just going to be very careful about how he plays this.
Yep, Shock Horror. Chovy has the most minions in the game. There we go. Big surprise.
Yeah, it's huge. No one's ever seen that before.
No, not in the history of any MOBA.
Chovy's known for missing a lot of chances to misfarm.
Yeah, he misses all of the missing farm.
Zekka should be okay here. I don't quite think Duro reaches him. Exhaust?
Yeah, he just headbutts his way over there as the exhaust does come in. Phase Rush and Flash are enough to get Zekka to relative safety, as now Zeus in a little bit of trouble. But now Delight makes his way over, finds the Pop Blossom, almost just, in fact, does die to the turret. And I don't even think they killed Chovy. So that was weird. It was also a turret that killed a Wukong, I'm pretty sure.
I think that at some point...
No, Wukong killed a turret, never mind.
Dandy is going to need to get a picture of. You've been at your local pool before, right? And you know, the max depth is like 6 feet US. I don't know how many meters the standard pool is in Australia, but there's usually a big no diving sign right there because it's a bit too shallow. And with these dives we've been seeing from HLE, maybe they need to put that up in the team house because this team has really tried to force these plays. It's Annie. She's got stun prepped. It's not going to work out, and Chovy just walks away scot-free despite no flash. As we'll watch this again, Chovy has the stun here, drops Tibbers down. The turret aggro is picked up here early by the Nico, and then he's just dead. And then Chovy just walks it off with the stun. He's like, all right.
Yeah, that was,
there wasn't a wave there.
Yeah, Delight hadn't transformed into a cannon minion that time, I guess.
Certainly not.
So it wasn't looking as tanky underneath that turret. Anyway, Peanut gonna come on over and try and contest this Rift Herald. Delight thankfully up and available once again, as you got the Aurora and the Gwen both on flank angles, but Keen taking a little while longer to get here. See whether HLE can actually find a way in as Duro. He's ready to look for this, as there is the smite from Canyon. Duro finding the pulverize, but it's only on to one, as now Zeka able to get a fair bit of DPS. Duro trying to run his way out as the needlework comes in. Dawning Shadow, Zeus so close to death, but Tibbers not able to burn that one out just yet. Great knockback there with the Crescent Guard out of Peanut. They are still trying to get out, and that is the root connecting. Keen able to lock that one down. Another flash going to be burned there as Zeka is just going to get pooped on the noggin by Canyon. A big team fight win there from Gen.G, and they managed to get the objective.
Gen.G just looking like they are a tier above. Such a far cry from the close games we saw from these teams all year long up until this point. Jovi's going to grab this turret as well as a second charge goes over in the top lane. This game is all but over. 5,500 gold to lead at 16.5 minutes for the Senna composition, and that was a beautiful team fight from Gen.G. The way they played, how slow they were, Ruler utilizing his ranges. It all starts off with Duro denying Peanut smite entry by pushing him away as they look for the secure. Then gets the pulverize here, and look at Ruler just sitting at the back. Gets a root here, adds some damage. At Duro, incredibly low, right? Ultimate, fantastic. Zeus, so low here, can't really get out. Canyon comes in late, he's so fed. Gets the Cyclone, buys enough time. They get the root, and Jovi's like, all I need is one stun. Canyon flashes for the second Cyclone here, gets Zeka, then he gets stunned, then he gets taken out. Gen.G are in control of the entire map, and the scaling is already starting to hit.
Certainly has. You got 44 there on Ruler already. He's been collecting a whole bunch of orbs that have been falling all over the place. HLE at least do still have those two Drakes that they put together. The Cloud Drake is up and available, but there are bounties here, Wolf. It is crazy the amount of advantage Gen.G just found in that one fight. And Keen even able to defend this outer turret at the same time, so it doesn't look like HLE will get any look in at this dragon.
They see Duro's there, they're like, I guess we can't go for anything onto Keen as Zeka tries to push this in, but like you said, not going to get this bounty. So much of the gold is on those 3 turrets that were picked up. They got that extra charge topside. They're going to get the first dragon for them of the game.
Yep, and that is still 5.4k as far as the lead. Zeus just loses half of his health bar to a bear, and it continues to make him feel uncomfortable. Even pulled away, so it's not 50 gold going over to the Gwen. Zeka now getting comboed here by Keen, who's looking real good on this Aurora. And Peanut just trying to push away Duro. Will be able to successfully do so. Man, what are the Gwen stats for Zeus over the last couple of Gwen games?
Well, I mean, right now...
what was it, 0-7 last time out?
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's had another Gwen game since then.
I think he was 0-5 to start in that first series they had against, what was it, Mkoy? I can't remember. But yeah. It was not a great start, but they did end up coming back in that one. I don't know if that's going to happen this time around, Atlas. It just does not feel like there is any angle.
And it was another blind Gwen that got countered by an Aurora as well. So we kind of knew what to expect. This is something that Keen did to Flandre, I'm pretty sure, in the final of EWC. So not like it's a surprise as to what was going on. But still, game isn't over, right? Like, the Nexus is still alive.
Gen.G are not going to try to force anything here in this red buff fight because they can instead just use Chovy to pull people back. They know they have a numbers disadvantage here. They know they have topside control. As going to see a funky teleport here from Duro. It does not catch his opposition. Chovy's chilling.
Yeah, win becomes nothing as Peanut needs to be healed to make his way out in a 1 versus 3 3 against Chovy.
Well, we started this series off with Peanut being 6 kills away. We're still there as he gets pushed away in another failed attempt to look for a dive onto this Annie.
And that was all trying to get some position around this Otacon. That is still up and available, or is going to be up and available in 17 seconds.
I mean, yeah, Gen.G are just kind of waiting for objectives to spawn at this point, as Ruler just keeps stacking.
Yep. 2 items have also been completed here already for Chovy at the same time, so he's feeling very good. The 4-0 Wukong as well is a massive problem.
It's the Tibbers build too, man. He's got his big extra damage. Well, why am I forgetting the first item he builds name? The old cooldown item.
It was Malignance.
Malignance, thank you. And his Bloodletter's Curse. Like, he is just going to do so much damage with Tibbers in these fights.
Yep.
It's crazy.
The bear does the burn, and it's looking real frightening. And there it is. The bear is doing the burn. Peanut is once again taking a lot of damage as Duro looking for that headbutt angle, but Peanut able to audaciously charge his way out. Teleport in from Zeus. Gets him behind them.
They have a control ward here, and he is spotted now. And he's just going to go push mid instead, as it looks like HLE, no confidence to contest this objective. The Jin, the Rise, nowhere near this. TP going to come through for safety from Keen. And Gen.G are saying just +1.
Just to make sure they get it. The ward does go over as now Delight getting a snare onto Duro. Now they're going to look away from this Otacon and just destroy Peanut. Zeka able to get out of there, but man, they are not going to be able to defend this Otacon take. And Gen.G just own the Rift right now. Keen flashes in, doesn't manage to get Zeka, which was the prime target, but gets his flash as he immediately gets himself the heck out of there. And HLE just cannot find any way into this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one has been frankly done since we suggested it was earlier, but I mean, HANWHA Lifer is still grouping for objectives, right? They're still trying to play League of Legends, but Gen.G said, I've unplugged the keyboards, metaphorically speaking, as they just can't play the game.
Yep.
Keen looking for the flash play here is actually so insanely bold, but he has the ward to kind of back that up. Does not work out, but I respect it because I don't know if he's really going to miss it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's the kind of game where he really needs that button.
Well, now it's a 6,000 gold lead. And Gen.G, I mean, there are some bounties up, but I just don't know whether HLE are ever going to get within range of a turret.
Do you think...
Try and capitalize.
Do you think if you could remove, like, each player on Gen.G randomly loses a Q, W, or E on their keyboard? Like, it would really suck if Ruler lost his Q, but, like, I think they could probably still win from here. That's the lead they have. That's the map control they have. Ruler may just be in the Ruler spot.
Yeah, he is definitely in the Ruler spot, but he does cleanse the slow. Pop Blossom not going to quite find Ruler, but he's still dead. They do manage to catch out Duro, who's flashing to get himself away. As Gen.G losing Ruler in the Ruler spot is something they're very used to, but now they have to contend with this. The Pulverize, so good in that moment, but Chovy still in so much trouble. He flashes away though, and he survives, and now the Wukong has found them. Finally, the kill does come on through there as they lock down the kill onto the cow at the same time, and now Canyon, a massive shutdown available here for Viper if he can get there, but still Canyon's running away. We need to find some of these bullets as the needlework comes in, and Zeus will finally get a shutdown, and HLE, that is so much money they just accrued.
I guess I should have asked the question, do you think if they remove the AD carry from Gen.G, if HANWHA Life Esports could still win the game? I don't know what to say about this. My man is in his shade, pushing in to the inner turret, while his team is trying to get that deep vision on the top side, but does not have it. Of course he gets punished there, where he often has. It's just a player trait, let's say. It would be bound the back of his trading card. Chovy buys a ton of space here. The Cyclone does as well, and it starts to look like for just a second, if Keen could get here, Gen.G could actually still win this fight.
Angry Tibbers gets so much done in this fight as well. It's kind of crazy.
And look at how long Canyon survives here, by the way, as well, as Zeus is also maybe going to survive. Chovy has stun.
Yeah, Zeus was immune at least. Does have flash available, so he is just going to use it as the Tibbers comes down. Well played there from Zeus to make sure that he definitely gets out of there, because if he does get caught out, then it could be a big deal. Otacon was still taken, of course, for Gen.G, as you can see towards the top side, but it is still Soul Point up on the table here as Duro possibly out of position. The rest of the team are looking to make their way over, though. And Delight, that was his clone. They do have full information. Duro still Does have his ultimate, but is down to 50%, so might need to use it earlier than he'd otherwise want, as captive audience is going to be there. They're looking for Viper, he just wants to walk to join the fight, but Chovy finds the auto, and down goes the Jin before anything could even start.
Yeah, I mean, Zeus is trying to get a turret in the bottom lane, but I think that's all they're going to get here, as this dragon is forfeit. The second dragon here for Gen.G this game is going to give them more rotational power on the map. These Cloud Drakes stacking up, and they're going to use it right away to look for a potential pick on the Zeus. He has no TP. They know exactly where he is. That back is not going to complete.
Nope, that is not going to work. He's going to do some needle stuff as Duro almost dies, but he is still going to be taken down. Duro is going to live. They get his ult. That is about it.
I mean, that's all Zeus can really do in this situation. His sacrifice will bring 5 Gen.G players to the bottom of the map, which allows Zeka to delete some minions here in the mid lane. They were able to take, you know, the turret as well down there, that outer, so Zeus picks up some money. He actually has a gold lead over Keen in this game somehow. Maybe that 0-4-0-5 power spike at work here. I'm being facetious, but I mean, it's the only good news here for HANWHA Life.
Yep, and I mean, he killed Canyon, that's why. Canyon is currently a 7-1-2 Wukong, so that should have been about 1,000 gold that he picked up from that one kill alone. I don't know whether it really puts HLE in a good position in this game.
It's a less bad position.
I would say less bad is exactly right, as Zeka is going to discover, Keen is going to discover Zeka, I think I should say. And now they're looking for it. Delight is just going to die. Zeka is now very dead, as Realm Warp, never mind. Just gets himself out. Now Peanut dealing with a bear underneath the turret, but does use his Crescent Guard to get himself out of there, but there's some long cooldowns invested just to keep HLE members alive, and it doesn't work for Delight.
It's one of those moments where the observers have to zoom out so you can see the carnage on both sides. As Peanut's exhausted.
Yeah, over the wall goes Canyon. He tries to do something funny, but Ruler comes on over and helps take him down with Keen. And so, yeah, Gen.G, I think it should just be Baron time.
It is, in fact, Baron time. And Gen.G are like, maybe they'll contest
patrolling tithers.
Yeah, maybe they'll contest and we'll get even more. Nope, it's just going to be a Viper push in the mid lane. He gets caught by Duro, the mid-push police. Yep, we'll push him away. And where's the angle here for HANWHA Life? I mean, Zeka, he doesn't have 16. He will eventually get it. He's sitting in the side lane right now, but
I think ask Ruler nicely to once again over-push in the mid lane.
It's not a Pop Blossom, you know, dash cannon here. It's a hopefully get out. Oh, I didn't quite make it. And the Peanut's just trying to do anything he can because he knows there's Baron up. And with his support dead, he's got to be the next in line to try to push Vision and Leapfrog. He's hoping they are doing Baron so he can clear that Vision and maybe look for a steal because he has Flash. Nope, just dead because he can't see anything. He can't do anything.
Oh, now Peanut thinks he's found Duro, but there's a blast cone. So Duro is just going to continue wandering around the jungle. Canyon's split pushing. He is a very scary split pusher as well, as this 8-1-3 Wukong now. They'll take the inner turret, only extend that gold lead further. 8,000 is the tune of that one.
I mean, Keen's going to get this turret in mid, and now they could really start sieging this base directly.
They're going to have to find more than this. Zeka is just taken down to a quarter health, just because Chovy wanted to get his bear out.
We all want to drop a bear sometimes.
Indeed. As an Australian, I know all about drop bears. And now the Pop Blossom is going to find a couple here as Ruler does cleanse it. Delight, his work is done, but oh god, it was not enough. They do manage to get King. Congratulations for that one, but their base is now in tatters. Peanut's also going to get slowed down and then destroyed. Ruler getting his revenge after that overstep in mid, and Gen.G are just going to look to end game number 1 pretty swiftly here as they follow their Baroned up minions. Viper, oh my goodness, almost just destroyed by his former mid laner as the curtains are going to get cold, but I don't think it's for Gen.G as the bullets are going to sail by. Ruler with the emote spam. Looking pretty cute there, but this Nexus is going to be the focus. Viper will get taken down one more time, and there goes the Nexus. Gen.G from strength to strength. Remember guys, they got home yesterday.